Hello and welcome to Exploring Christianity, a Journey of Faith. Today I want to share what it feels like to me when I hear from God. Not long after I became a Christian, I mentioned in a Facebook post that God told me something. A good friend of mine who's not Christian asked me exactly what I meant. I gave my friend a very lame answer at the time that even I wasn't very satisfied with, and I'm convinced that he wasn't either. Since that time, I've given hearing from God quite a bit of thought. Let me first say that I've never heard God tell me anything with my ears. Some people may have had that experience, but I have not. I'm still learning how to listen to God, and my experience is pretty basic for the most part. One thing that may happen when I hear from God is a thought that seems to have jumped into my head without a predecessor. For me, my thinking tends to follow kind of a surfing the internet type path. A thought seems to follow from the one before it. Now, this thinking path may be pretty bizarre. I'm thinking about not having tried something new for a while, which makes me think that I bought a tent a few years ago intending to try camping, which makes me think of camping with my family as a kid, which makes me think about my brother, which makes me think of cooking since he's a chef, which makes me remember that I need to use that leftover chicken before it goes bad, which makes me think maybe my husband would like to take it for lunch, which makes me think about his job, which makes me think about my job, and so on and so on and so on. But sometimes I have a thought that doesn't seem to have come from any previous thought. And there is sometimes almost a physical sensation of the thought just popping into my head as if it came from outside of me. When that happens, I try to take note. Now, the unconnected thought may or may not happen when I hear from God, but the next thing is consistent for me. While my mind is thinking a thought, connected to a previous thought or not, I get a sudden positive pulling toward or negative pushing away from sensation. For me, I quite literally have this feeling originating in the middle of my chest from my heart. Before I knew God, I thought of this feeling as my conscience. I would be doing something or thinking about doing something, and I would have a physical sensation that basically felt like you should or you shouldn't do whatever I'm thinking about, yes or no. Now there's one more component that I don't really know how to explain. When I hear a message from God, there's the thought and the sensation of yes, no, or good, bad, but there's also something else that I don't know how to describe other than to call it the God feeling. It's a feeling of warmth, like a hug from someone you love, a feeling of joy and lightness, a feeling of being in the presence of greatness, and a feeling of being truly and deeply loved. Sometimes this feeling is so gentle that I'm not sure it even happened. And there was one time it washed over me so intensely it left me breathless. Often I'm not sure if a thought is coming from me or from God, but sometimes I know that God is speaking to me. So a couple of examples of when God has spoken to me. Years ago, I was at a Christian weekend and was assigned to a table with people that I didn't know. One of the women at my table shared that she was having some medical problems. The thought suddenly jumped into my head, you should give her all the money you have in your wallet. And with this, a strong yes feeling. I'm thinking to myself that there's no way I could do that. She didn't say anything about needing money, and she would probably be horribly offended. I tried to convince myself that this crazy idea must have come from my head and that there was no way God was telling me to do this thing. But every time I thought about giving money to her, there was that yes feeling, almost a longing from my heart and a strong sense of the God feeling. In the end, I put the money in an envelope. As we were parting ways after the weekend, I put it in her hand and said, I think God told me to give this to you, and then scurried away. She later sent me an email saying that she hadn't been able to work because of her medical situation and had been at her wit's end trying to figure out how to pay a bill, and that the money I had given her gave her enough to do so. I'm convinced that God spoke to me because I never would have thought of that on my own. More recently, I was praying about what topic to do for the next of these videos. I was looking for a topic like the one we've been doing, where I could research about something in the Bible or about the Bible itself and share it. Something nice and safe and factual. I tried to clear my mind and listen. Now, frequently when I do that, my thoughts just roam off and start thinking of something else, and I have to try again, sometimes many times, and sometimes I never can clear it enough to listen. So after, I don't know, maybe 10 seconds, my thoughts drifted to thinking that I had been unusually down this summer and thinking how much I missed the service work that I was doing last spring. And then I suddenly think that, along with the yes feeling. My reaction was, "Are you sure, God? Did I hear you right? That's very different than what I've been doing. It sure felt like I'm hearing from you, but..." And then I have the thought, tell them that too. And that yes feeling again. Then I found myself thinking about the name of these videos, Exploring Christianity, A Journey of Faith, with the yes feeling and the thought, tell them about your journey with me, and the God feeling. So, now in addition to the more factual, informational type videos that we've been doing, there will also be topics like this one and the last one. A phrase that I've been thinking a lot lately is that we need to know God and not just know about God. So going forward, we'll try to discuss both the facts and the experience. Now your turn. What do you experience when God is talking to you?